Hello there, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, all of whom are loved and welcomed in this space. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Bad Betches, the only Bad Batch discussion show hosted by the Imperial Senate Podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Ashby, and joining me as always are my beloved co-hosts, Nicky Kumar and Claire Dribbling. Hey!
Ooh, we get full names today. Cool.
We graduated.
Look, I've been really proud of you guys this past 9 episodes, and I just thought, time for you to grow up.
There we go.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, don't say that. Yeah, pretty cool. Also, by the way, I did leave the little banner on for like a little bit longer than usual, so people could be like, wow, what's going to happen?
The suspense. It's killing us.
Magic. That's the power of the entertainment industry. So how is everyone?
Let me tell you, man. What a weekend.
All good?
You know, started off, let me tell you. Thursday, 9 p.m. Pacific. Started off right. A little Ted Lasso.
Oh.
Which, what's left to be said about Ted Lasso? Amazing. Then, go a few hours. Bad Batch. We're gonna spend a whole lot of time talking about that. Then, fast forward a few more hours. The Green Knight.
Oh, baby. How was it?
Oh, chills. Yeah, great stuff. And then Saturday, friend of the show and a Babble Bubble and Sacred Jedi Bricks fame, friend Reed. He and I started watching Sexy Beasts on Netflix.
Oh my god, I want to watch it so bad. So bad.
Absolute train wreck bullshit.
Is this the show where they're all like wearing weird
makeup?
Costumes?
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's like a Hollywood level props department, and it's the stupidest thing, which makes it great. Then Sunday, Hungarian Grand Prix goes fucking nuts. Turn 1 goes fucking nuts. 4 people wiped out. And then the Bad Betches. So what a weekend. That's all I gotta say.
Really. I will say, since the last time we talked, we mentioned the guy I went to high school with who ran in the triathlon.
There we go.
He was the highest placing American man in history in the triathlon. He finished 6th. But his mixed triathlon team, silver medal, baby. I know a silver medalist. That's cool. But my weekend is not as happy as yours, Nikki, because I have my Chicago Crumbs shirt on today. All of my friends have been traded away. Everybody I love and care about.
All my friends are dead.
All my friends are dead and hitting home runs on their first games in different uniforms, and I'm sad. At least Rizzo has Chicago flag gloves and cleats on, so you know his heart's still in Chicago. But
there you go.
I cry.
It's a heartbreaking thing, you know.
Yeah.
Especially
out with Gonzo.
Oh my god.
I feel like baseball is even like more ruthless when it comes to trades, because it's very much like you're going.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay then. Like I can't remember who it was. I saw some video going around of like the guy on the phone, and then he's just
Chris
like
Bryant, and he starts crying. When
I don't
Chris
know why I'm
Bryant
laughing,
and I wasn't. Why are you laughing at my pain?
It's just a lot. It's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of
Chris
emotions.
Bryant, that video broke me. It really did. And yeah, that's it too. Is like the craziest thing too is like you find out, and then literally, like you get on a plane like now, and then you play the next day. Like literally found out Rizzo was leaving next day in a Yankees uniform. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
What? Oh.
It's rough.
I'm
an Arsenal fan, so can relate.
Oh yeah, thanks for that. But it's crazy though, because even in most soccer situations, transfers are kind of prolonged. You can you prepare for the inevitable in a lot of scenarios. Yeah, baseball. They're just like, okay, bye. Here's your stuff.
Bye. There was your stuff. You leave. You play tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is it like is there like a big hubbub about it? Like, is there like a big? Because I feel like with football or soccer, there is a lot of there's almost a weird sort of sense of fun out of it, like the last transfer day, like when everyone's like going crazy and you just watch Sky Sports all day. And
I swear some people
that's the baseball trade deadline.
Some people are more into being fans of transfers than the actual teams. Like I swear.
I know, it's true.
I swear people get more hype. Like people play FIFA to do the transfers. And then they're like, fast forward through the season, blah 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 blah. Okay, bring all the people in. And it's it's the wildest thing. Yeah.
Crazy
Weird
stuff.
Crazy stuff.
But yeah, all good apart from that then.
Oh yeah. Other than that, things are going pretty well. Can't complain too much.
Oh, bless.
It was my brother's birthday, and I got to see him for the first time in like 6 months because I was in California, so that was cool.
Well, happy birthday to. Are you gonna give a shout out or just insert brother name here?
Happy birthday, Dan.
Okay.
Sorry. Everything buffered for a minute. I was like, and am I gone? Am I here? What's happened? Yes, happy birthday, Dan. Last birthday in his 20s.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Woo.
HBD.
Hey, Matthew. We're just in our usual, for some reason, talking about sports stage at the beginning of the Bad Batch episode. Did I tell you guys that I'm related to an Olympian?
Who?
Oh.
Yeah, I found this out like 10 years ago, maybe. And there was a boxer called William Philo, who apparently I'm related to on my nan's side, I believe.
Is he active or older?
No, this is like the London Olympics in 1910.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you didn't meet.
Do you know what? I didn't. I wasn't. He died in the Somme. So shit. I wasn't planning to go there in 1914, but
can relate.
Like, I don't really want to go.
It's like, do you actually have British in you if you aren't related to someone who died in the Somme? Like, I don't know. I don't think you are.
I don't want to talk to you.
My goodness.
Oh, bless. But no, yeah, it's really cool. Got bronze medal.
That's cool.
Very nice.
And according to the historical records that I've read up on, and like someone's wrote like a whole page about him, apparently it might have been he deserved the silver medal, but apparently the person he was fighting was the son of a gentleman.
Oh no!
And the referee was preferential to the son of the gentleman, and
it's like the Wimbledon guy when they left the tie on the chair. They're like, You're not fancy enough, lad. You don't get the tie presented to you. You just leave it for you.
Working class. You know, sports. I don't think so. So yeah, that's pretty much all that. But yeah, I think that's all we got. Caught up and everything.
Pretty much.
Why don't we dive into the thing that we all enjoyed this week? I think we can all say, which was the latest episode of the Bad Batch, called War-Mantle.
What a show!
Right? Pretty good, right? We should do a show about it.
Pretty good. Yeah.
When I read the title, I was like, oh, my nipples. I need to calm. It's not even started. I need to calm down. Like, I was like,
Charlie needs Project War-Mantle. Charlie needs to take care of his black saber at the moment,
Oh.
Fully ignited.
Christ. Don't know what was on that data tape that Jin was looking at.
Mark.
Thank goodness.
Omega.
Yeah, did you see that about the whole Mark Omega thing?
I didn't actually.
I didn't see anything, but I heard of it.
Yeah, like I just never really noticed that before, the whole Mark Omega Rogue One plan. So for those who aren't aware, if you go back and watch Rogue One, obviously War-Mantle is one of the projects that is listed when they're looking for the Stardust. But also one of the other ones is called Mark Omega. So people are like, that's very interesting that they've used
Mark
that.
Hamill. Omega. Behind the scenes for the rescue. Mark Hamill in full Luke costume. And Omega's there too. That's the next Disney Plus show. Project Mark Omega. There we go.
I actually do have a theory about Omega and another project, but I'll save that for later.
Please
that popped into my head. But yeah, like I was like, what could that mean? Mark Omega, like Is that her first name? Is it actually Mark? Call me Mark.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's like hey, I love to bring it back to Ted Lasso, but I'm a feminine junior, Leslie. She's a masculine junior.
Oh my god.
Goodness.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, it could be that. But yeah, I was just like super hyped about that. I saw that everyone talking. So I wanted to get my, go in the episode, going calm, collective, and then it starts off with a chase scene, and I'm like, God damn it, clone is getting chased. This is big stuff. I'm gonna put everything in there. I'm gonna put everything in there. I'm so glad I did, because this episode was one to remember. Now let's start off with our discussion. Now, if you haven't watched the show before, what we do is we go through key points of the episode in chronological order, but we don't necessarily have to stick to that order. We just do it because it's easier. But we'll start off with the vague Rex needs help. The Bad Batch get a little communique from our good friend Rex, who's off somewhere. And I know it's like ridiculous to say every specific thing reminds you of something else, but this little hologram moment reminded me of Attack of the Clones. When Obi-Wan rings up Anakin and Padme. I was like, no, destroy droids. Peace out. Call Coruscant.
Rex's Uber Eats arrived. That's why I had to go. My chili fries.
I've got to go. I'm hungry.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. No, the episode was wild. Like, just, I try not to do this every week. I don't think I have many times, but I think this one was my favorite so far. And yeah, just that opening already of the chase. And, I think once again, can't be enough said about the way this show is shot, animated, cinematography, especially this one. I don't know what it was like about this one in particular. I think Joel Aaron talked about his influences from like The Deer Hunter. But there was something about this one that was just so wild, and just the way it was shot, the depth of it was like the whole thing was filmed in like portrait mode on the iPhone.
It really was.
Yeah, like you had the blurred depth. And it started with this chase scene of a guy we will soon find out. But I thought it was very cool how they never showed the helmets. And that was sort of like the first click of something is happening with this. This is different. Because if they were just regular clones, they would have shown the full clones. And now it's like that felt very much like the first sort of indicator. And then just that scene alone was almost very like horror-y. Yeah. Like you think about Most Dangerous Game, or sort of like Battle Royale, or even a part of Game of Thrones when the dogs are chasing after one of Ramsay's gals, and just that whole vibe of being hunted. It was pretty tense, and then it was so cool. And then Rex shows up with a request, which is very cool.
Excited.
Yeah.
I was so excited to get that, because I feel like this episode is the jumping off point for the finale. Obviously, this episode I feel like set up our 2-episode finale. And with one, we'll talk about him in a bit, but the Kamino and stuff, which we'll talk about next, because it is definitely a bullet point. And with Rex being like, hey, yo, let's get to clones, bros. And also the fact that the clones are being phased out. This is super, all of this being like dropped in this episode. I'm like, and here's the finale setup. Here we go. Here comes the big climactic ending to season 1 of the Bad Batch, and hopefully continuing into season 2 should it be renewed. But you're so right, Nikki. There were some moments with the cinema, like the way that they had it animated, where it would just be like forest. And I'd be like, oh, that's just like, what up, bro, Axiom? What's up?
Hey.
But there would just be moments where you'd see the trees and you'd see the landscape, and then all of a sudden and I'd forget for a second I'm watching an animated thing, and then all of a sudden the Bad Batch hops into the frame like over a rock, and I'm like, oh, okay, wow, this is not real life. This is amazing. It just keeps getting better and better, and it's I'm so excited that now we're getting into the clone rescue, because this is the part that's gonna break me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's been a big build up to this, because I mean it's pretty early they start doing the human recruits, like that were just a conscript or whatever, and I think even in one of those early episodes they say War-Mantle, right? Like it was dropped somewhere. So like we know this was coming, and now it's like, and now it's one of those scary things where it's like it's actually here now. It's very different when it's like, oh yeah, War-Mantle, huh? And you're like, oh, Rogue One, that's fun. And now it's like, now seeing it is like, oh shit, this is happening.
A lot less fun.
Yeah, and like this, it's also the scary thing about the Republic, because it's like that facility wasn't built overnight. Like that was there, and that's creepy. And like we saw that in Clone Wars with the big base on Coruscant, which is like, this is really big industrial, like military industrial complex shit right here. And seeing that, and then that translates into this big dam fort that we see later on in the episode. It's pretty creepy what parts of the Republic were up to, certainly during these late phases of the war. And yeah, it's just crazy to like see it all happen now.
The first time I saw that base, my first thought was like, this is very Starkillery in its design, in this big crater in the middle sort of thing. I'm like, that better. Yeah. And I was very relieved for it not to be that route yet. I'm like, please don't be testing anything of that nature quite yet. We would have heard about it. At some point, if it had, probably. But I was like, instantly, that the setting of that base just made my stomach go into knots. I'm like, oh no.
And that another fun thing, that planet really reminded me of the very first Rogue One teaser, where it's sort of like you fly over the jungle planet, and it's like, and Obi-Wan's like, for 1,000 generations, and then you see the Death Star sort of like faded shot. It kind of reminded me of like that, because obviously that sort of idea got shifted away, and it'd be cool if they sort of repurposed this idea of this sort of jungly sort of facility planet into War-Mantle now.
Yeah, and I think what I love about that as well is that there's so much plotted throughout everything that sort of builds up to it. Like you said, the actual building of it reminded me very much of two things. First of all, it reminded me a lot of the mixture of the base we kind of see in The Mandalorian, and also the base we see in Fallen Order, like on Kashyyyk. Like now it's like plugged into the actual planet itself. I really like that design. But what it also reminded me of, like the little details and facts, like so many things plotted throughout, which I just really do love. There's so much connections, including apparently, I haven't read the book, but I was doing some research for the episode, because I just when I get really excited about something, I just have to like keep digging into stuff. So have you read Battlefront Twilight Company?
Oh no,
I didn't finish it. I started it a while ago and never got back into it.
So there's references about how the stormtroopers were originally trained by the Republic commandos. And that idea is now fully fleshed, and now we know that the Republic commandos were all brought in and actually taken to this base, and that is what War-Mantle is. It's them being trained by these groups, which I thought was really cool. And I feel like when we realize who the clone is later on, it's like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense why they're there. But like you said, there's just so much great details in the episode that I just really love. I know we talked about how beautiful the show looks, and I do agree. Like you saw me earlier on this season, just completely every week blown away. But I do have to say, if I see David Collins or any of the sound design team at some point in the future, if it's at Celebration or just anywhere, I will buy them as many drinks as they want. They can have my kidney. They can have, like, the sound design in this week's episode was just like magnificent. I was just so delighted, whether that's like the actual music for the Kamino brothers or if it's like the little sound effects you hear.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we were treated well this week, very, very well.
Yeah,
they took us out for dinner. They offered to pay for both of us, which is really nice actually. They didn't pressure us to go home. They gave us the number. It was great, you know. Like I was really, really happy with
They hit us with the shocker.
Man, I was gonna go. We got wined and dined, but no, Nicky, we're gonna go right there, aren't we?
He tracked us home.
Oh my!
Is that the first time we've seen a like stun on one specific part of the human body, or like alien body,
And like keep going kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. Apart from like someone like Ponkrell taking a few stun blasts, I think.
Yeah.
He's
an absolute lad.
Yeah, he's big unit. But yeah, it's yeah, I think it might be. Yeah, you see the limp leg trying to keep going.
Really cool. We see a few moments like that in the episode, which I think, again, it's one of those great little, when people say like characterization, why don't they just go into detail via dialogue? I'm like, that is literally character like explanation through action.
Yeah.
You know that Republic commandos are more tougher, their armor is much better than the others, and yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Why don't we dive on to the second point, which I feel like is the main, well, not the main thing, but it's a big part of the episode, which is also
really quickly, while we still have Rex there. I'll
bring Rex back.
There you go. I always think it's a great thing when they use Rex because it affects Echo more than anyone else.
Yeah.
And this especially with Rex coming in and saying, "Yo, got something for you." And Echo is an absolute ride or die, right? Like he's like, I'm there, buddy. Like, don't you don't even need to tell me. It's like, just give me a place. I'm there. And I think that's always great, especially when Hunter, because they are, I believe, in the middle of a job for Sid, and Hunter's the one having to say, again, he's team dad, right? And he's like, okay, we gotta weigh the options. We gotta make sure everyone's okay. Again, and a great comedy moment from Wrecker of oh yeah, he's right, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, Jack makes a good point.
That's already been memed. Someone's edited Wrecker into the Mace Windu Anakin Palpatine scene.
That's amazing.
So, when Anakin goes, he should be on trial. He goes, kid's got a point.
Yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, it just sets up a really good team dynamic when, not to say they're at like they're at not like opposing points of views, but just slight different motivations for each of them, and that always makes a very sort of interesting dynamic for when a decision needs to be made. Yeah, put Echo in the little hat.
I love Echo this episode. I think what's great as well is the importance of, I think sometimes people are like, cause obviously Echo's a soldier, so he has to move forward in some sort of way. Like, I don't think he's constantly going to be like focusing on the droid aspects of himself, like some people thought he might, or like he would find offense to being called like a droid or compared to a droid. I don't think that is how he works. But when it comes to other brothers and they're like helping them out, that's absolutely a triggering point for him. So when he brings up the fact that if it wasn't for the Bad Batch and Rex, he would have been left there as well, and he can't possibly leave this person behind as well. I thought it was a really great moment. So bad for Hauser. He's like, I'll wait for him. They'll be back.
Someday. It's another team. Another team's working on that.
He better be.
He's like, they'll be here.
He's like a fucking Millhouse, like throwing the frisbee to himself. Yeah.
I really liked the fact that he like was so hell-bent on getting this mission done, and you know they do, and I liked how the Bad Batch actually have respect for Rex as well, and that we do have a bit of time. Also, to point out the fact that I like the way that time is shown in the series. This is still the same year as, you know, the final season of the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, but also time has moved forward, definitely by months and stuff. So we've seen how these soldiers have been trained, and like you said, Nicky, I think what's important is that this isn't an overnight thing. This didn't happen post-Republic. This has been happening during the Republic.
Yep.
One of my favorite introductions in new canon is the idea, and it's so brilliant because it feels so realistic, which is the idea of, it's like a beautiful written story is in Catalyst, but it's just so great how they manipulate A New Hope, Rogue One, and the Clone Wars together, which is the political idea that the plans from Episode 2 were caught with Poggle the Lesser when they were building a Death Star. And then the Republic are like, okay, the Separatists are building a super weapon. We need to make our own super weapon. Like, if they're making one, like nuclear missiles, right? Like, oh, if Russia's building one, we got to build one. So it's like armament against each other, but it's the exact same plans using the Geonosian still. And then by the end of the war, they're like, well, yeah, the Separatists aren't here, but we've got this. We've got this Death Star that needs
sweet base.
We might as well just finish it, right? Like, we might as well just keep doing it. Like, it's so brilliant, and I like how the way like the Senate are like, yeah, sure, whatever, fuck it, well, fine, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, it's a fucking super weapon, and it's the same design. So yeah, I like that, how they like the way Palpatine manipulates all the stuff like that.
It's like he knew what was going on both sides. Isn't that funny? It's like he planned the whole thing. This Palpatine guy.
What a guy!
You know what? He's some Phantom Menace. This man. Let's go on to the second point, which is Alama Sue is finished. Because I spent about 2 seconds on that title. We go into the Kaminoan subplot of this week's episode. We go back to Kamino. You're talking about how the episode looks and how gorgeous it is. That opening with the Imperial Venator.
That just wasn't right. Like, I wanted to like slap him in the face, but how dare you? Like, you kiss your mama with that mouth. Like, it was just dirty. It was filth, man. Filth on the screen.
Smut.
Well, I guess we revealed what our preference is because you're angry and I'm like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why when you see the that shot in episode 3 at the end, when it cuts to them overseeing the Death Star and it's the Imperial Venators and the V-Wings, and I'm like, oh my god, hold me, please.
Yeah.
Like it's just so good. And yeah, but the proximity between the Star Destroyer and the place was pretty scary. Also, shout out to Daniel Logan, who wasn't retained as young clones, but I kind of like the little D. Bradley voices.
Yeah, they were kind of funny.
They were funny.
It was funny though. Like, we haven't really like seen much of them. You know, there's all these like. It's just one of those things. It's like you know they're a part of that world, and then, but it's just like we haven't seen them for so long. It's still like, oh yeah, I got those little kids are around. Poor guy. He's like, we're gonna be soldiers still, right? Like, oh.
We are gonna be soldiers though,
buddy.
Yes.
You're gonna be a farmer.
Walk into the door, and it's just a big incinerator.
Oh Jesus.
Oh. Like immediately giving them like life crisis, like
or it's a hole, and they just fall into the water.
They become fish people.
That's what the Kaminoans are.
There you go.
They just accidentally fell into the water. Yeah, I mean, bless them, bless their hearts. Do you reckon they're to like, because they've got all those eggs, right, and the babies. Do you reckon they're to like spruce up the machine, like an oven, like turn up the toaster? Cook them a bit. I'm like, come on. Oh. There's just a bunch of 99s going, hang on.
Fried eggs.
Like, what do they do? No. What do they do there?
Oh, no.
Oh, I don't know, but I don't like it very much.
So it's a question.
I'm gonna have to sleep on that one.
You're both just staring into the distance. Like,
I know. I didn't want to think about dead baby talk during today's episode of the Bad Betches, but
I didn't mean dead baby. I meant like gradually age them up.
Oh,
quicker.
Gradually age them. I thought you were saying.
Where were you going?
I thought you were saying like cook them, as in like cook the egg, kill them. I'm like, oh my god.
Like, cook it a bit faster, turn the heat up a little bit, make them grow a bit faster.
Oh, we're still working in the incubator. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see.
I don't want to cook the babies. No. I just want them to be made a little faster. I
love that is a statement that you need to clarify. I don't want to cook the babies.
I'm not saying we want to see kids killed on an anime show.
Please no.
No, I mean it's like The Sims. Maybe like the Kaminoans are putting in like the cheat codes, money load.
You spent all my money on TV.
Oh my goodness.
Age up fast.
Oh man.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. What did you think about Llama Sue and the whole idea that the contracts have officially been cancelled? Kamino, I'm assuming, has lost not only its status in the Empire, but probably its seat in the Senate as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, maybe so.
Especially after this. If it wasn't before, now this is going to be the nail in the coffin that does it.
Yeah, and again, it's just continuing that chickens coming home to roost. Like these are all things that were put in place with the sort of imperial takeover of the facilities, and then now I think we always kind of wonder, we're like, oh, what's gonna happen? Llama Sue, what's he gonna do? And then turns out not much, not much for this part. guy got caught out by Rampart, which was pretty creepy. Not gonna lie.
And he's basically just like, oh, the scientists we can use, but bye.
Yeah.
That's so terrifying. Just being like, you're not useful to us. We're gonna eliminate you, just like that. Like, that's terrifying. And they were gonna do it either way. Like, but man, I knew that these things weren't gonna end well for the Kaminoans, but this is a little ominous.
Yeah, I do appreciate Rampart. Like, he's not this over-the-top, dramatic, operatic villain. He's very real-life villain. I think that's kind of scary in the sense that it's not like he's genuinely actingly looking for... Actingly? That's not a word. It's not like he's genuinely looking for a way to maybe improve or like get the Kaminoans, and he wants them gone. Mm-hmm. He needs to find a good political way to get rid of them.
Good
the
way
same
to
way
get
with
that
on free ties. Like, I'll shoot you in the head if I have to. Do what I say. Back the hell up. And that's scarier to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's people like him and people like Tarkin, where like they're different to the Sith because they're not motivated by this like cosmic force of darkness. They're just doing the job, and the job is brutal, and they're the assholes to do it. There's just the joy of the power is like all they need. And yeah, it's like, and this is, it goes back to the Raxus episode, Ryloth, like these are the moves to destabilize and then fill voids. Like, they're just like, yeah, it's axe the politicians. It's, they had the senators in their pockets. They have, no need for the prime minister. So yeah, no, it's just this wide narrative all season long of what it's like to see the Empire take over, and what it's like, we saw it in places like Pantora where they were cheering, right? They're cheering the clones in the street, and so yeah, it's obviously different in Kamino, not really a civilian population to find out, but like I think it's sort of the opposite of that, where no one here has a choice, and like for all we know, there could be a mass execution of Kaminoans. Like that's
very
as likely as anything else.
Whoa. Mining disaster.
Right. They're mining for that underwater ore right under Tapoka City. It was just a real tragedy. No one could have foreseen it.
I just love the idea that Vader has like a little like Pokedex of like like ideas of like what could have happened. He's like,
That's like that episode of that episode of 30 Rock where they try to record the
yes, the natural disasters.
He just has Robert De Niro like reading lines like when the mudslide hit after the tsunami and the fireworks factory got hit and all the fireworks. He's just like going, yeah. So Darth Vader is Jack Donaghy, confirmed.
He just got different language.
Amazing.
The moon blew up.
Yeah. Size Noodles singing the song. She's like, when the bad thing that happened. Yeah, here we go.
King George VI says, I wonder how many of those young clone cadets managed to escape. Do we know if the Empire only caught the medical supplies being evacuated or if the cadets got away? I reckon it was a bit like Order 66 with an Uno card reverse.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's rough.
No.
Man. It's who like yeah. I mean, who knows? It's rough though. It's rough. I wonder what our next scene on Kamino is going to be.
I reckon that obviously they've probably brought Hunter back to Kamino, right?
Yeah, could see that.
Probably.
So maybe that's the finale. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
there you go.
Jeremy, I do the electric slide with the best of them. I'm there.
We're with you, Jeremy.
King George VI also says maybe they'll appoint a new puppet prime minister until the Imperial governors take over, like the Cardassian that took over from Daemar for the Dominion and Deep Space Nine. If anyone watched that, I just think they'll just get rid of the seat on Kamino. Like, there's no need for them once that Kamino, because they have the seat in the Senate because of the fact that they're creating the clone army.
Mm-hmm.
Once the clone army are irrelevant, I feel like not many people will care, and if they do, won't get talked about as often.
R.I.P. to the best named Star Wars Senator, Halle Bertoni.
So good. So good.
Hopefully they're all right.
Yeah, I don't have a very optimistic outlook of what I think the next plan is. I think that this is a look at what the Kaminoans were doing. They were trying to take all of this property and all of this stuff away from what is, as of now, a part of the Empire. They are committing treason against the Empire. They are going against the wishes of the Empire. We gotta take them out. I think that this is a very, very dangerous spot for any Kaminoan to be in right now. I foresee violence in the future, and I don't
I'm
like.
looking. I see blaster bolts.
My dear, you've seen the Grim.
The Grim. That's what I see for all of Kamino is the Grim. I need glasses, some really big glasses to
I see
bring my point home.
Wolf, a grey wolf in your cup. And then Rex is like, I know who that is.
I know that guy. He's got a real cute laugh. I know it's Gregor. Gregor's a cute laugh, which we got to hear this week so many times. The first little giggle out of Gregor. Sorry, that's a tangent. My whole body relaxed. I was just like, oh, I'm home. I'm home.
I love that it's confirmation that the explosion made him loopy.
Yes.
He was a pretty chill guy on Abafar. And I was like,
Listen to me. I will protect all of you droids. I'm a hero of the Republic. I'm insane.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect
I also
vibe.
love that he's not that far. Like, he's a little bit quirky.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's also, I feel like that plus isolation must not be helpful.
Oh,
Especially when the only people that you spent your life with for like 19 years are basically yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go look at the mirror, and it's not me.
For sure. It's a weird life.
There are two specific moments in this episode which I thought was really cool, which is I like to call like reflections or like reversals of things we see in Rebels, which is kind of fun now because like when Rebels we get to see like reversals or repeats and complete story arcs for some characters that we saw in Clone Wars and Rebels, and now we get kind of like a reversal with some of the stuff we can see that from Rebels in the Bad Batch, whether that's with Hera and stuff. One of my favorite parts for this week's episode, there was two of them in particular. One was the fact that if the Kaminoans are to be, it kind of fits the theme that the two major races introduced into Attack of the Clones, who are responsible for setting up both the Republic and the Separatists, were wiped out by the Empire.
Yeah.
No loose ends.
No loose ends.
Yep. This is how they operate. Like it's pretty brutal.
And the other one I will save for a little while. I'll get to that in a minute. But why don't we just jump into the main part of this week's episode, which is obviously War-Mantle and the TK troopers. Look.
Just pause.
When I saw that armor design, I freaked the fuck out. Not only that, like they could have just introduced the normal Stormtrooper design, and I'd be like, that's amazing. Oh my god. One, they've introduced a new one that is now a proto thing. So this is like when I was like 8 and I saw the Phase 2 clone trooper for the first time, and I was like, oh my god, that looks a little bit like a Stormtrooper, but a little bit like a clone trooper. Like it might exploded. Now I'm like, oh my god, guys, this looks a little bit like a clone trooper, a little bit like a Stormtrooper. What's going? I can't handle this. Like I'm getting excited. Which is, proves that you never grow up. I was so excited to see the designs. Obviously, a riff on the Ralph McQuarrie design for Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
But fits so well in that Clone Wars design. Still fits with the prequel aesthetic, which again is a nod to how clever and creative both Ralph McQuarrie and all the artists for the prequels were. It just was so cool to see them.
Yeah.
By themselves, though, pretty awesome. Having that with the A New Hope Death Star Imperial music, I mean,
yeah, the little like leitmotif that does not show up much.
Yeah,
right. Like it's in A New Hope, and then
Rogue One.
Solo. Like but it's also like instantly iconic though. Like you know exactly what it is, and it's just funny because it's like. It's a great tool as well because it's the Imperial March is so heavy, right? Like like this is very middle management, right? And just perfect for these guys. And yeah, just seeing their armor was great. I'll tell you the thing that changed my life though.
Oh,
he back, baby. He back. My man Scorch is in there. Doing not great shit, maybe, but he's in there. It was beautiful to see you, my boy. Yeah, just great. And again, going back to sort of you brought up the Twilight Company reference, but like it even goes into Legends. If you know the Republic Commando novels, you sort of see how there's a what's it called? There's like the Mandalorian like super commandos. They're the ones who like train the clones, the commandos, the ARC troopers, and then even outside of Star Wars, this is real life. Of special forces being used to train, not only your own forces, but sort of like local places. Like they'll just send the commandos to go train like local freedom fighters or whatever. So yeah, it's just a really cool, very real feeling step to have the commandos being the ones training, and then of course using one of the Republic commandos is always a fucking win. It's so cool. Like when they showed up in the Clone Wars, that was like, but yeah, now having Scorch here, taking his hits like a real champ, he took them. And also like, during the escape and all that, you could see Commando Brain as well. Cause like the TKs are just like, and Scorch is like jumping on the outside of like elevators and shit. And yeah, so like that was cool. But yeah, what a just like an insane sequence of events. That when they're trying, like Tech tries to use the Republic codes and shit. And Gregor's like, you fucking moron.
For someone who is so smart, he is so dumb sometimes, Tech.
Yeah. Well,
like,
he's
come on now.
He's tunnel visioned.
Yeah,
I think,
he's very tunnel visioned.
It's like that's the thing, and yeah, it's just so cool. And again, it's I guess like part of the tragedy again. I mean, if you play those Republic Commando games, or you just sort of know the characters loosely and how they fit, and now you're seeing them serve the bad guys, and it's just the tragedy of the Clone Wars again. They like beating this over our heads in recent years. Like, you like some of this, bitch? And they're just like whacking you with Order 66.
Like, remember everything you love? We're gonna make it turn on you.
Yeah, we're gonna make the heroes the bad guys. That's fun. So yeah, it was just a lot. It was a lot to take in. Sort of watching the war machine, the War-Mantle, in action.
Yeah, and I think it does a great job at explaining why the Stormtroopers are such a great force. It's not necessarily that they're a good battle squad. They're nowhere near proficient as the clones. But that shot when you just see a bunch of them, it's terrifying. You're like, oh god damn, like yeah, they can miss, but there's like when there's 20 of them, the likelihood of you surviving.
They're the new battle droids.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. That's Palpatine was pulling the strings on both sides. The battle droids were just these super weak things that are coming to just in waves and waves and waves to overwhelm with numbers. The clones were skilled and have the human element of creativity. This combines the two.
Yeah.
This combines the two sides of the war Palpatine was on, the sheer numbers and the human element to it. It's very, very interesting and kind of cool how much it makes sense.
It's the same with the TIE fighters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like,
don't
put a shield on them. Just mass produce.
Exactly. We'll find another guy to put in there, right? Yeah, sure.
But get this. It's fast.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do it.
Sign me up.
Chris says, I love this episode so much. It's great to see the transition from clones to stormtroopers and so much potential this building. Clone Rebellion.
I want to see it.
I think we will see it, and I don't think the outcome will be a positive one.
No.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt
for our heroes.
To quote the great Captain Tarples, "Ouch time."
Oh, it's gonna hurt me on every level, but I want it. It's gonna hurt so good.
Good lord. Yeah, I agree. I think we're gonna get emotionally affected.
Did you see David Collins? David Collins, when he was like, "Can't wait for people to see the last 3 episodes." Makes me emotional thinking about it already. I'm like, God damn it. Like, damn it, David. Why are you doing this to me now? I don't have time to like worry 3 weeks in advance.
Look, This is why Star Wars is so complicated, because I could be there's so much to focus on, and half of my brain was like, "This is gonna be really bad emotionally. I'm really upset. Like I don't know what's gonna happen," and then half of my brain is like, "They're using the same sounds for the E11s in A New Hope. This is some good stuff, like the little sound effects." Yep. I did actually double check to see if they actually had if the new Stormtroopers had E11s or some sort of precursor. They don't. It's still the clone blaster, which I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like
DC 15,
DC 17 or something. Maybe. Yeah. It wasn't. It's still that, but they used the sound effects, which I thought was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a different bolt they're using.
They changed the ammo.
Yeah, the Imperial decor again. It's what I like to call, since we learned about it also in Catalyst, I like to call it Krennic Chic, because he's the architect and he designs these buildings. Mm-hmm. So I like to call the little, the Krennic Chic design. I thought it was really awesome to hear the little sound effects, like we said, the leitmotifs. There's also small little leitmotifs from A New Hope that wasn't necessarily just the Death Star theme. There was a little bit I know David Collins has mentioned before that that little section when they're hiding in the Falcon, and it uses that little section from Psycho.
Oh,
there seems to be a little bit of that music in there as well. I think if you listen closely, I can't remember if it's the scene on Kamino, or if it's actually it might be the scene when the V-wings started getting up. It sounds a bit like the Republic theme, but like twisted.
Yeah.
If you listen closely, I feel like the music there is the Republic theme, but they're twisted into like a darker sort of sense. Really cool. I really love the new outfit for the Stormtroopers. I think I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season we see them completely geared up, maybe potentially. Or I don't know, maybe we'll see them just keep using this one for a little while. Either way, and I don't think that the clone troopers are going to be completely wiped out either. I feel like for future seasons, if we do get future seasons, we'll see a mixture maybe of some clones and TK troopers. But yeah. So we get introduced to them. We find out, of course, the person who Rex wanted to help was Captain Gregor, our favorite crazy clone. Who, can I just say something?
No.
This might be controversial. I think I told Nicky about this the other day because I needed some backup on this. I needed to make sure I wasn't going crazy. Captain Hauser, right? It's been knocked off a perch for me.
There we go.
I'm gonna say it. Gregor is hotter.
You think Gregor's hotter?
He's built. Did you see him? He was
he is.
He was fit.
Thicker than oatmeal, man.
Thicker than oatmeal.
And Claire, he makes you laugh.
He does make me laugh. His just infectious giggle. He just fills me with joy, slightly deranged joy.
He's perfect.
He is. I'm just saying there's something about Hauser that's like a Disney prince. He's almost like Aladdin personality who's just oh, I'm cute and I'm trying to do the right thing and trying to do the thing for Ryloth. There's something about Hauser that strikes me as Disney prince energy, and there's something about Gregor that's just Mad Hatter energy. I don't know.
I think Hauser now is kind of he's in one of those late 90s to noughties Disney films where they're reverting the storyline, so you're expected to fall in love with Hauser because he's the traditionally groomed prince, whereas Gregor is the thicker working class lad who likes you, but you don't realize it till the end of the film. You're like, oh my god, he likes me, and then you turn around, and he's like, hey everyone, I'm crazy.
Hauser better not be trying to kill Elsa and shit. Tell you, man, if he's all of a sudden, what if he's the one who kills the mom?
Oh my lord, don't you put that out there.
And then Greg is like, hi! I'll stop this!
Is that a snowman?
Goodness.
I think that, I'd love that. I just think he's the one who's right for everyone. Do you want me to get into my depressing Rebels comparison now, the second one?
Lay it on us.
So Gregor gets shot, right? Here, and he's like, "Don't worry, that won't take me out." And then later on, it's ironic because later on, of course, he does get shot in the chest, and I thought that was a nice little nod to Rebels.
Yeah.
I was like, but you will though. It will kill you one day.
It will take you out.
I mean, even then, just taking that scene alone,
pain.
How much this adds to it. When I think his dialogue before he dies, it was an honor to fight with you for something. This time we believe in it. And it's and now this is part one of that journey, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it's what's so magical about these things when it happens, whether it's the Clone Wars to the prequels or Rebels to the Clone Wars or the Bad Batch to fucking everything. It's these little moments that just sort of change the perception or add another layer to what you know already. So yeah, no, it's good shit.
Brent Age of Grogu says,
"Hey, Brent.
Lama Su tells Naluse to gather those essential. I wonder if that means clones that are loyal to Kaminoans. I think the 2 troopers who were ordered to kill Lamisu were their allies for an escape. Interesting.
I thought they were elite squad dudes.
I think they might have been.
I'd be wary if they were being friendly. But yeah. I wonder who is left on Kamino who like cares about them. Makes you wonder because they moved the Coruscant guard in. They don't give a shit about them. Like it's raining here all the time. I miss the fucking the clone bar, right? Like they don't like it there. And yeah, it's almost like who's left? Is it the kids? Like are the kids the ones who might actually even care about the tall neck people? My teachers?
Well,
like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like what do they? Unless maybe it's like a mega that spurs them on a little bit, because we don't know if all the Kaminoans are evil necessarily.
No, and I don't think Nala Se is either.
No, I don't either.
I think it's just.
I don't know.
Just,
she was
I don't think
pretty
she's
mean with 5s.
Well, that wasn't good. But I think
it's just motivations.
Yeah,
like, they're different. I don't think she's like sinister though. And so yeah, I think there could be plenty of that. I mean, it could be just a bunch of like nurses who are like, hey, and yeah, just the scientists. It's an interesting thought though.
I definitely feel like we might be leading up to some sort of, again, one of my favorite missions from Battlefront 2, the original game, was the clone uprising against the Empire. One of the interesting things about that is that, I don't know if do you remember that mission, playing it?
Mm-hmm.
The person who helps out the Empire is Boba Fett.
Damn.
Now, would we see that in this? Or would he be protecting them? I think it would be interesting.
I only care about Tone Wee.
And you killed her.
Where is she?
Yeah. Is she safe? Is she alright?
Is she safe? Is she alright? Oh no.
Well, yeah,
like smash cut to Tone Wee, just her like tongue's hanging out, like dead on the floor.
Like Snoke.
Yeah, like exactly. And Lamas is like, well, no.
She died. I hope she died a noble death. She was delivering money to kidnap a kid. I like to think that maybe Boba would be like against the Empire, perhaps.
Maybe at this stage. Yeah,
maybe that's the disintegration.
I would say, I'm gonna say that my prediction is he probably would team up with the Empire, and the only reason I say that is they don't look at him and want to kill him in Empire Strikes Back. I think he sees I think he would see the value in teaming up with them or staying out of this situation.
Maybe
just because I feel like the Empire.
It's hard to know what his mindset is.
Yeah,
you know?
Like yeah.
It's
weird.
Yeah, but also I feel like Vader doesn't care. Like I feel like he appreciates the fact that Boba is a bounty hunter, and they're gonna if their bounty is to steal for the Empire. I feel like he's like, well, I get it, sort of thing. Like, who cares?
I think Vader would get it, but I don't think that the bureaucrats would.
Douchey though.
I don't think.
Like, we don't need their kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to think about like where Boba's head would be at this point, because we know a bit from Clone Wars that he's still got that a little bit of softness there, and then we know from if the Cad Bane design is indicative of said duel already happening, then we know he's gone through some more stuff. So it's just kind of weird. Yeah, it's like, is he hardened enough yet to be like, I don't care about them? I don't know. It's hard to say.
And has he filmed the Book of Boba?
He's been in a Polynesian spa. that's what he's doing now. There we go.
There we go.
Like, he found his first Polynesian spa.
Basically, I'm your sister, and Kaminoans have been outrun by the Empire. There are no words.
Oh dear.
I think, yeah, that's what I like about this relook at Boba Fett, is that he's not really. I know that there's like some comics like Bounty Hunters where they try to make him like the classic EU badass guy, but I still think in the canon what we've got so far, there's not really much that says that he's just like outright like negative. Like he is just doing his job.
Yeah,
he's paying the bills in a galaxy that's pretty shitty. Like we naturally we're like he's bad in Empire because we're on Han Solo's side. We don't really want him to be put in carbonite.
Yeah,
but also like, oh,
he's not. I don't think he's not like motivated in the same way Luke Skywalker is, right? Like, yes. But like I don't think he's like necessarily saying whose life can I fuck up today. So yeah, it's just the job, and that's the thing. Like, is he at the point in his life where he would say it's just the job? I think it'd be pretty interesting if he wasn't, and they brought him in. Yeah. So yeah, if that were the case, I don't know. I would hope he would do something right. Like, what if he sees like one of the little clone kids and he's like, damn it. He's a fucking okay. Boba Fett is Roy Kent, confirmed. He's like,
come on, you little bastard!
Fucking hell.
He's like, yeah. It cuts to like an upshot of him going, "We can do this. We can fight against the Empire." And it just cuts to like the little kids, but like a little clone Phase 1 armor going, "How do guns work?"
Oh no!
You want to be a bounty hunter? It's a shit job for dumb fucks. Stupid bullshit.
I don't want to put people on carbonite.
Yeah, that'd be really. I think that'd be a lot of fun. If they expanded on Boba that way. But yeah, who knows?
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah. One of my things that I was thinking about actually recently about the Book of Boba Fett was like, how does he get out of the Sarlacc? And I thought, what if we do see
next
someone?
Yeah,
because...
go ahead.
No. I'm just thinking about that now. Someone who would at this point have skills, because obviously the Sarlacc is a creature, and I feel like if you're going to deal with such a creature, you need to have like experience. Maybe hunting experience. And I feel like who would have hunting experience and a lot of other skills at this point, and have a reason to want to save Boba Fett. Now at this point, Omega would be in her late 20s. I'm just saying, wouldn't it be cool if Omega is the one that helps him out?
Hello!
Can't have your money.
Are you dead, man? She's just like throwing Mantel mix down I'm hungry. Now he is robot chicken Boba Fett. He's throwing some fucking food down here. Then yeah.
This is how we get the Blue Bantha milk story of Boba Fett eats a bucket of fried chicken into the canon. Now we know how it works.
A starving man.
There you go. He's just like. I also like the idea that Omega in her late, like near 30s, still speaks like that.
Yeah, she ain't changing.
Yeah.
Like all kids, they all stay that. They don't grow. Like, it's like you know, a kid will always be a kid. No matter what happens.
I agree with Omega. Because he's still alive. He's the only one left.
Oh dear.
He's in the wheelchair on the dune sand.
Oh man, what a ride!
Why don't we go into our final little thing for this week's episode? Hunter finds himself hunted. Oh boy, Also, shout out to the commandos that just wear the all white armor from Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
they look pretty cool. Apart from that one dude who got shot by the TKs.
Yeah. Yeah, rough stuff for CC. Blah blah blah. CC 6969. LOL. Yeah, rough day. yeah, maybe we saw Hunter survive. Maybe he
get a knife as well.
Yeah, he had 2 knives. But yeah, what an ending! Like just everything about the escape was just like peak tension, peak action, peak animation. Yeah, E.T.'s a great reference to the first part. And yeah, and also even while they were doing all this, we had the sort of fun moments of Omega and Wrecker in the ship, and I loved them playing the little game on top of Gonki, and then Omega like worrying, holding Lula, and she was like, "Oh my God, where are they?" and Wrecker just being chill. He's like, "Well, I forget the exact line." He was like, "I'm resting to be ready." So yeah, it was a very fun sort of like, I've been here before. It's fine. And then things ended up not being fine. But yeah, no, just a really great sort of action set piece to wrap this one up.
Yeah. And absolutely. I love that we got to highlight with the use of the smoke grenades, like just they got to highlight some of Hunter's abilities to track people through all sorts of environments. There were so many things. Also, shout out to the Bad Batch for still keeping their stuff unstun. I appreciate that. You got big old hearts. I appreciate you boys.
Speaking of stun, King George, Scorch didn't die. It was the other dude.
Still going.
It was the all-white commander that got yeeted off the cliff. So, Scorch is still there. He's having a little nap.
I think Scorch comes off the gunship when they corner Wrecker.
Yeah. You're right, I think.
I think he's there. But yeah.
Quick nap.
Yeah. He shook it off. But yeah, no, just wild shit, man. And yeah, the what's it called? I loved there was a specific moment where we now have seen, or we can now sort of, it's implied that Omega's had a little bit of time behind the wheel of the Marauder. So she's a little more competent, but there's a specific time when Tech gets on the ship and he's like, "That was sufficient. I will take over now." And oh man, I love that moment because it reminded me so much of when Sirius Black shows up at the Ministry and he's like, "You've done beautifully. Like, now get out and let me do this." And it was like that mix of pride with concern. I love that. And I think like there's probably been, like good critique of sort of maybe the series as a whole of like Tech and Echo being maybe the most underbaked, the least amount of time spent like specifically on them. But I thought this episode in particular was really good for both of them, even when you can't like give them a focus story, but you can give them moments that really flesh them out more. And I think that moment from Tech was really great in his relationship with Omega, because he's obviously been the one teaching her how to fly. And then also when Hunter's like, "You need to go, like get out of here and leave me," and Tech is like,
he's shaking. Yeah,
he's like, and it's just like, again, this thing, like we've never been in this scenario before. And like you can imagine, they've been through all sorts, but leaving Hunter behind, like something was not right about that. And so it was a great sort of sequence for those kind of things. They really let them shine there.
Yeah. And it's stressful because Hunter's clearly the leader. Hunter steers everything. Who will lead them, or how will they co-lead? It's going to be an interesting and very dangerous task to get him back. And that last scene, I think that was the last scene, with Crosshair stepping up to the cell, just like, oh dang, like I wanted the whole team, but I can take you, like I'll deal with having you alone. I'm like, oh shoot.
I hope they just kissed passionately, like immediately.
Yes!
He's like, "Come here, I wanted the whole team, but you'll do." This is how they find out about the chips, because he's like feeling his head. He's like, "What's this scar?" And then he's like, "We can give you one too, baby." Anyway, this is my fanfic now. But yeah, pretty ominous.
Speaking of
nice and ominous.
Speaking of comparisons, I definitely got a big Rebels comparison of this one. Like the way that the first season is structured. Like, so Kanan gets captured at the end of that episode, and then I reckon next week will be the similar to Rebels, where it's like the build up to get him back. Also, the Mandalorian, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's more so Rebels because of just the way it is. And then the finale will be the big battle on God knows where to get them back. I'm very much hoping that we get a big group together to help save it, more like the Mandalorian in terms of getting Rex, maybe Wolf, if that's the person we've seen. Be a big surprise if we expect it to be Wolf, but it's actually Cody. That'd be pretty crazy.
I would not know how to handle myself.
Well, hopefully he does the right thing, realizes that what he did to poor Bogo there's no going back from that. He just
eats himself into the water.
Friendly fire.
He's like, I'm gone. Bye. Yeah, it's gonna be so wild.
Oh, Hannah.
He eats himself into the Polynesian spa.
Yeah. And yeah, again, it's like going back to Omega right there. Like, she was like straight up freaking out. Like, we have to go back. And again, it's like it's one of those things where I almost feel like the batch, they were very much being the adults in that scenario, right? Like, I think they were very much that too. But it was almost like we have a job to do right now in terms of getting us safe. But I think it's still the same thing. Like Tech was silent about it, but I think he was just about thinking the same thing as Omega. So it was again just great, writing in the episode to illustrate all those different things and have them sort of like, you can tell they're feeling the same thing, but can't express it the same way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a lot, man. It was a lot to end that episode on.
I think it'd be cool if maybe like next week they go to Rex for help. Maybe Rex is like, I can't help you right now. Like, we have to do this at one point at a time. And then what if we still like Echo get angry at Rex for the first time? He's like, no, he's our brother. We're going to save him. We risk our life to save Gregor. Yep. And then Gregor's like, yeah, where you go? Get him. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like, there's like a big debate between the clones and the idea of what they should go do next. Because I do imagine that perhaps Rex is going around collecting these. I would imagine that maybe the Bad Batch told them about Hauser. Maybe Rex broke him out. Maybe what if he's hanging out with them? They got like the really cool hair.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because again, it was like, the way Hunter sort of like looked back at Hauser, it was very much like, I'm not gonna forget about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's part of why I don't think he's quite done, Mr. Hauser. It'd be really
a figure
cool.
of him. So they're do
merchandise. It's like the IG-11 thing where like they made the figure and I'm like, what? They killed him in the first episode. It's like, no, surely there's a little more here. It'd be super cool if they bring the sort of like not quite Avengers Portals level, but like sort of that feeling of like the good clones coming out and getting whomped. But yeah, little victories hopefully is what we'll see.
Oh,
and then of course the whole crosshair of it all, like that's going to play into the finale of that as well, and what the success of him being either saved or descending further, like, I don't know.
I want to clarify. I'm about to bring up a theory I had the other day, and this theory I told Nicky I think it was just randomly the other day. I just said it. I was like, "This is interesting." Nicky, not only did he didn't have like a active response of anger or regret, but he just closed his laptop and walked away and left the call. And I said, what if Crosshair puts a chip in Hunter? And Mega's like,
was about
Hunter, we've come to save you.
I
And he's
had to like hold my hand back to not do it again.
like Dr. Strangelove, you're like,
Oh no.
Oh no.
would that break our hearts?
Yeah.
That'd be rough.
Hunter kills everyone else immediately. And it's like, oh god, shit.
Yeah. That'd be a lot.
Eat Sid.
That'd be a lot.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sad.
Anyway,
Thanks for that,
I'm
Charlie.
gonna go lie down for a bit. But
I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a hell of an ending. Like, there's so much on the table. Obviously, whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna look fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And we know that much. Like, it's gonna be so cool. So I even remember in the Clone Wars when I think season 3 was like the first time I noticed it, where even the like last episodes they kicked up the graphics. Like I think it was like season 3, it was like, it would get better than what it was, but then it got to those Ahsoka episodes being like hunted by the Trandoshan's, and it was just like upgrade. It's like when your team like wears the new jersey on like the last game of the season. Like it feels like that. I wonder, like, oh my god, like what if the Bad Batch is just like, oh hey, you thought this was good? Wait till you see this finale, and they just crank everything up a little more, and it's just live action now. Like
It's just real.
It's happening in your living room. Yeah, wild. I can't wait. It's gonna be the best.
Well, I'll say if you've got any questions for us, please do send them in now, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube. We're going to try and answer as many as we can before we wrap up. But before we do that, we do what we do every week, which, of course, is our favorite moment. We've got to get our good friend,
Yay.
Amiga and Lula.
Yay.
And we will be doing our overall thoughts and score. Whew, who wants to go first this week? Claire.
Okay.
You're smiling. That counts.
Dang. Wow. So this was another really great episode of The Bad Batch. It's one that has some serious setup for the end of the season and possibly another season of The Bad Batch. The music, the Kiners did such an incredible job. The sound effects from David Collins and the sound mixing team was just, everything was delicious. It was just scrumptious. It was really scrumptious. They did an excellent job through the entire episode from start to finish with suspense. Anytime I get to see Rex, it makes me a happy little bunny on the inside. Not like Happy Bunny, but like a legitimately happy bunny. Yeah, so this episode, it just, from start to finish, it was just excellent. I'm very nervous as to where we're going. I'm nervous for the future of Kamino. I'm nervous for those sweet little boyos that we saw, our little boyo cadets on Kamino. There's a lot of things changing at this time, and it really did put like the weight of what's going to happen during this transitional period into play, into the forefront here. I love a crazy little giggle. There were some seriously funny moments. There was some, to break up the tension, which I thought I really appreciated. And yeah, I'm excited. And Hannah G I agree. If they save Hunter and leave Crosshair, I swear as well. I swear.
They can't. They just
can't do it.
It's like it would be like
brothers.
It would be like malpractice on terms of Jennifer Corbett. I'm gonna go all ScarJo on you. I'm gonna throw a lawsuit, baby, because you cannot leave you cannot do that. He can't be left. That has to be addressed. So yeah.
But anyway, this episode I'm gonna give it a 9. I really enjoyed it. It's hard to rank all these episodes. It really is, because they've been so many just impeccably done episodes. And yeah, I'm excited. It felt like a setup, and I'm excited to see the payoff from the setup this week.
Absolutely. Nicky.
Just amazing stuff again. We all, we just spent better part of an hour and a half explaining it all. So yeah, without going too much repetition of everything we've all said, you gave me Scorch in action, baby. Thank you. I thank you. I love you. And then yeah, just again a lot of chickens coming home to roost. War-Mantle, Kamino, sort of the whatever the crosshair conversation with Rampart talking about, like they very much have a plan of what to do with these guys. Not gonna be great. And then yeah, just the tension of that ending I think was amazing. And speaking of Scorch being in action, first time we got V-Wings in like fucking good action. Like not just doing flyovers. Like these guys were here to play and here to crash and here to get shot down.
Don't get me started. Okay.
It was
Charlie's a little bothered over there.
It was very attractive stuff. And yeah, man, it was just a lot. Like just a lot of great stuff went into this episode. And you know my game already. Just stick another 10 Lulas in there. But yeah, just really, really great stuff. This was one where a lot of stakes were laid out. A lot of setups were. I mean, Claire said it was a setup. It is a setup, and it was also the resolution of a lot of setups.
Yeah.
So like it was just a whole lot went into this. I can't believe it was still only like 26 minutes or something. So yeah, I think it's all set. Like it's all laying the table for a really great last two episodes. I think we're gonna be shocked and surprised and left wounded, but also left feeling good, because that's what Star Wars does. That's what good storytelling does. It gives and it takes. So yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes. It's gonna be great. Yeah, and it was hooded Rex. Man didn't have time to take the hood down. It was raining. It was raining outside, and he had to go get his food.
I like the idea of him with his voice going, "I'm not a clone."
Yeah, he's like, ignore the armor. Yeah, just so many and just great, like filmmaking techniques in this. Again, just going back to the beginning, whatever reference you want to make, just the very specific lighting and shooting of Gregor being hunted. Yeah, just great filmmaking on this whole stuff. So yeah, just how it is. It's a good ride, baby. I had fun on it. Had a blast. Give me those 10 Lulas.
Claire, did you give a score?
9.
9.
9.
So 9, 10. There's so much I could say about the episode that I'm not going to. I'm going to refer to a tweet I posted immediately after watching the episode. And this is my review. Oh, maybe if I get rid of the actual banner, you can see it all. But yeah, there you go.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That's my review for the
pretty
episode.
Holistic experience right there.
10 out of 10 for me. I was enthralled. I love the animation was at the best it's been. The sound design, like when you can focus on the specific little sound design moments, that just shows you how great this episode is. The storytelling moved up a notch, like you said. That scene where you get to see like Tech's hand literally like shake because he doesn't quite know what he's got to do. And again, I think what people misunderstand is that Tech's reliance on factual evidence and this is how things work isn't always a benefit. It's also his weakness.
Yeah,
and that's
it's very
part of the
Mentat
story.
from Dune. Very Mentat. He can reason
Absolutely.
with the best of him, provided he has been given all of the information that is correct. If he has all of that, you cannot outsmart him. Oh, Dune references in the chat.
Yeah, and I mean stuff like that is often so much to cover up for an insecurity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah, I mean that's what makes them great. It's like their specific strengths are like lead to weaknesses. Like that's what makes them great characters. So yeah, it's good stuff.
But yeah, sorry for interrupting your review, Charlie.
No, it's fine. Also, just beautiful, sexy.
Meow.
Whenever I see an Imperial Clone Wars ship, it's like a mixture of emotions because I'm like, look at you. This is your twilight hour. You're gonna go soon, but I'm gonna enjoy you for the time I've got left. I hope we do see like a bit more of that. Like if we do get to see like an episode with maybe Vader in it, I'd like to see him in the like the black Ella 2 fighter, like from episode 3. Figure that came out, the ship, and it was like the Vader one. I think they used it in Lords of the Sith.
That was in I think some Legends books, and then I think Lords of the Sith. He's still using it.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, super cool.
And yeah, the V-wings look pretty cool. But I think that's pretty much it. So a decent 9.5 overall. Pretty great score.
We're good.
9.75 or something, because there were 2 10s. So it's gonna shift that up a little.
Okay, nerd.
Let's do some math.
That's one thing I never wanted to hear during a Star Wars discussion. Let's do math.
You can tell who's not tech around here.
What are you trying to say, Nicky? I don't think we've got many questions. So I think that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you so much to everyone who has watched us. But if you want to find more from the Imperial Senate podcast, then I've got a surprise for you.
Good news.
So you can find us on Instagram at is it Imp Senate Pod, right?
Imperial Senate Pod.
On Instagram, yeah. Imperial Senate Pod. And on Twitter at Imp Senate Pod. There we go. It's there. Oh, look at that.
There we go.
Where can we find us all individually, though? Claire, you can go first because you did the same with the review.
Yeah. So you can find me, obviously, on Twitter and Instagram at cstribs. There I am. Look at me. Look at me over there. So you can find me there. You can catch me monthly on Broaxium. I'm now a part of the Quick Shot team, which means every month I'll be reviewing the new Dr. Aphra comic. I'm super excited because she's great and I love her and she's all mine now. Blah. And and let's see here. Oh, you can catch me every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time on the Imperial Senate Podcast Twitch account. I'll be streaming Battlefront 2. I'll be streaming probably other things at some point. Eventually, we're going to put Twitter polls and stuff up there so that you can decide what you want me to be bad playing video games and drinking wine to. So just saying, it's a really great time. A lot of familiar faces in the chat, and it's always just a blast just hanging out with people and just playing video games. So I think that's it. I think that's all I'm up to. Yeah.
You're busy being Nicky.
Yeah, everyone, you can follow me at Niquitius, as it says on the screen right there. That's on Twitter. And yeah, let's nerd out over the Bad Batch. Got Premier League starting in a few days now, not too long. So if you want to nerd about Premier League, be there too. And then if you want to catch another show I do, that is the One and Done Film Club. There we go, on Apple Podcasts right there. You can follow that show on Twitter at N Done Show. And we got some fun stuff coming out. We recorded another commentary for a Rejects episode. So that was a fun watch. And then we'll be right back at it with season 2 in the fall. And then you can also catch me do some more stuff on the Imperial Senate Patreon account. So if anybody is interested or is already a member or is interested in joining that, we have the Sacred Jedi Bricks that I do with Reed Devaney of the Babble Bubble, where we watch all the Lego Star Wars stuff. And then I got some other shows coming out probably later this month on Patreon as well. So definitely come check that out. Come lend us your ears and your cash money, and and you can hear some of the fun stuff we have there.
Awesome. Don't forget that if you like the show, we, of course, are a podcast for first, most, and foremost. So don't forget to check us out on all the podcast platforms. But if you have Apple Podcasts or iTunes, please do leave us a review. Specifically, if you're in the UK, we need a lot more UK reviewers because currently we are a little bit low right now. But look at that. Look at all those pretty cool reviews there. Not bad. People like the show. And if you like the show too, why don't you give us a nice little
I like the guy.
nod.
I like the guy who's like, it's moist, but only 4 stars worth of moist. I don't think we're moist enough.
We
We're
could
not
be
moist enough
moister.
yet.
We gotta get in on that again.
We gotta get in on that.
We're letting the people down.
Well, we talked about Kamino today. It's a little bit more moist.
Yeah.
If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at CMW.
The West Country.
And on Instagram at CharlieMWAshby. You can also support me on Patreon and Ko-fi, the links of which are available on my Twitter bio from my Linktree URL, which you can see here. And there's a little HTTPS link for you there. So if you just want to see all that information, you want to see my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything, commissions, all of that's there. Everything in a one handy spot. We also have one for the Imperial Senate Podcast, but we'll update that soon. But yes, all we got time for this week. You got anything else to say, guys?
I love this stuff. I'm so mad, or not mad. I'm gonna be sad when it's done.
Hey.
Oh, thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
But yeah,
And me
be
too.
so mad. Like 2 weeks, man. That's all we got left. And then, we got we got other stuff. We got Marvel kicking back in again. But like, there's that sweet embrace of Star Wars. Nothing can quite touch it.
Yeah.
So
I still
I guess we
don't.
have visions, but it's different storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with the idea that when people are like, but we've got Marvel stuff. Like, me, I love Marvel stuff. Pawn Division, don't forget to check that out on the Charlie Ashby Network.
There we go.
But it's not the same as Star Wars. Like, Star Wars has a very specific feeling. So, and so does Marvel. Like, while I do feel like I don't think you could have like a constant Star Wars. I feel like Star Wars needs to have a little room to breathe. But I'm still going to be really upset. And I don't think Marvel can fill that specific Star Wars.
At least for me, at least. We share Star Wars with more people.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't sit here and do. Charlie does. 3 of us don't sit here and do a Marvel show.
We don't play with toys either, do we?
But yeah, no, it's just it hits different. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bittersweet when it's time for break.
Absolutely.
But we'd have earned it.
Yes, we have. We're going to be going back to the core audio episodes. So if you've missed us over there, then we'll be back.
But in the near future, there will be videos coming onto this channel, which I will be planning, and you will hear more about later.
Oh, look at that. What a tease. That was a post-credit scene and a half.
Thank you.
There you go.
I wouldn't be surprised if Samuel Jackson walked through Claire's door right now. You have no idea what to expect. And also another reason to check out the Patreon for ISP is that we're going to be doing a show that we haven't done for a while called After Dark, which is what it says in the tin. It's us three talking about whatever. Doesn't necessarily have to be. It's mostly not about Star Wars, but we're not going to say that it doesn't pop up from time to time because we're us.
And I will say
mess.
It is a hot mess because usually I do it after a couple glasses of wine. So
maybe we should all drink beforehand.
I'll get prep. That's pre-show prep.
Like we don't all do it normally. Yeah, it's for the show.
There you go.
Well, that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you for checking us out. We'll be back next time with the last 2 episodes of The Bad Batch. But until then, may the Force be with you. See ya.